Hello guys, and welcome back to my YouTube channel. Today I'm going to be kind of doing something that I wasn't really ever expecting myself to do, but it's just something that I need to do. I'm just gonna have a short little disclaimer right now. First off, I know I look like trash. Don't even tell me. I literally just woke up, but I haven't been able to sleep because I've been worried about making this video and the kind of backlash I'm gonna get from it. And so honestly, I just need to get it over with, like, now, and make it and post it and just accept that it's in the internet forever and I can't take it back. So realize that this is like kind of a hard video to make. Also, I don't want to be very poor me because obviously from the title, I guess depending on what I name it, you can tell that this is kind of like it's not so much poor me as to poor Stuart. I'm going to be looking over here a lot because this is where my notes are with something as important as this topic. For some reason, if you didn't read the title or if the title didn't give it away, today we're going to be talking about my stalker and what happened in my long-distance relationship, because I know that I put those out on the internet, and usually I would really hate to make a video that's so personal, like telling you guys facts about myself. That's one thing. Gosh, I look awful. But just full on giving you so much information about like a big part of what happened in my life, that's kind of a big deal. So I'm gonna leave this video unedited because I just want you guys like the real feeling from me, like I'm being legit with you guys. I'm being straight up. I'm just gonna tell you what happened, how it is, and maybe not so much of I don't want to ever justify myself. If I sound like I'm justifying myself, I'm not. Like, cheating is never okay. It's not okay. Like, that's the bottom line. But I kind of do want to give you guys some insight on what I was thinking in my stupid young brain that thought it was okay. I mean, I'm like 17 still. I mean, at the time, I was 15 when I cheated on Stuart. So, obviously, this is something that happened a few years ago. I was 2 years younger, but now it's still affecting me to this day, so honestly, I just need to talk about it. Like I said, I already got you guys involved in it with my reading your guys' comments video. Like, I shouldn't have brought it up at all. I involved you guys in my long-distance relationship, and honestly, the stalker and the end of my long-distance relationship are connected, and so I felt like you guys should know, since I don't want to just private it out, like private all my videos. I want you guys to hear it from me, just in case somehow this ever gets back to me, like, one day Stuart decides to roast me. He's like, oh yeah, I remember when you cheated on me. Like, I'd rather just have you guys hear this from me and hear my side of the story now before, like, there's actually a need for me to post this. Like, I want to be real with you guys. Okay. And like I said, this story is such a mess. Like, there's so much stuff that happened, that it's a mess. My life was such a mess at this time, right? So like I said, I'd rather have you guys hear it from me than anybody else. The first time I met Gunner, I finally went to high school. Oh crap, I wasn't gonna say his name. Now I feel bad. Well, I don't want to start all over, so now you guys know his name. It's fine, there's tons of Gunners, whatever. And so I feel bad now. I'm so sorry. Right, so I first went to high school, and this was my first day, and I had no friends, but I did have a friend named Cody, and, so I went to go hang out with Cody, because I didn't want to hang out with my friends from last year. Not that I didn't like them or anything, I'm still friends with them today, but, like, I was like, yeah, let's make some new friends. So I went over to Cody, I was talking to Cody, and then he walks over to his friend group, so I follow him, right? Lost little sophomore puppy. I'm like, where am I? What am I doing? I'll just follow the senior. And we go over to Gunner, and he has this really clingy girl clinging to him, and I was like, okay, whatever. And I was not attracted to him at all. Like, at that point, I was like, my boyfriend, I love my boyfriend's amazing. We had been dating for about a year and like a few months or something. And so I was still completely in love with Stuart. And so, like, nothing wrong there. We're good. But Gunner was immediately attracted to me, probably because I looked like an ultimate emo. And he was like, oh, yeah, I like her. And so he completely dropped the girl that was standing next to him. I mean, he didn't really like her too much in the first place, but like he just completely shoved her out of his life, and she's salty at me for that, still to this day, by the way. Anyways, but like he was very attracted to me. I'm sorry, I ramble a lot. And so I go on my high school year. I decide that I really like hanging out with Cody because Cody has a lot of cool friends. Like, and there's also some other people. Like, it wasn't just him and Gunner. Like, he had a lot of other big friend groups, and I loved them. I loved Tony. I loved Sam. You guys don't know those people, but I love you guys a lot. You're rad, especially Tony. Tony's my bro. And so I found all these really cool friends. So it's like, this is amazing. And so I'd chill with them every day at lunch, and then, like, eventually sometimes me, Cody, and Gunner would just go off or something, and sometimes Sam, too. And so we'd just go hang off by ourselves, and I'm a very open person, so, like, if you want to know something about me, I'll just tell you. I have no shame, and except for right now, I'm very ashamed of what happened, but, I, like, what do you do for this? Like, I just tell you, like, I don't care. Like, sorry, like, when people ask me about my old self-harm and stuff, like, I'll just tell you, like, obviously, since I'm bringing it up so casually, like, it's not a big deal, it's what happened. Things happen to people, and I know that I'm not perfect, so I'm not really gonna be fake about it, just, like, kind of like this video, I'm just gonna tell you what happened. Right, so he knew a lot about me, because I'm very open, and so he knew what, like, I was attracted to in a person and stuff, and so, Gunner, I kind of like very confident men, we're going to talk about it for a second, who will just full-on compliment you. Like, just have the balls to do it. They're like, wow, you're attractive, and I find that really attractive when somebody can compliment you or just, like, tell you how they feel, and you're like, oh, dang, you are straight up. And so, which was a big mess up, because now he knew exactly what I liked, and so he was very persistent and pushy. Now, that's not something that I like, but, like, he was very persistent with flirting with me, and I was like, I'm not strong, please stay away from me. And so one time, I messed up. It always happens this way. If you're a girl, then you know what I mean. He stole my phone, right? And, you know, you gotta get your phone back, because you're like, ho, what are you doing? Give me my phone back. And, you know, that often leads to getting too close. You're, like, pretty much right freaking on him, trying to get my freaking phone back. And I was like, oh, okay, cool. And so, oh no, just, like, it made me realize that I really missed a physical touch, which is something that I didn't really have an issue with beforehand, but just, like, being like, so close to somebody, it made me realize how much I really missed it, and I needed it. And honestly, I was too weak to give up. Like, I'd always, like, go cuddle with him in the corner. But I will say that I did never kiss him while I was with Stuart. Like, that was my one thing that I don't know where in my brain, but I was like, if I don't kiss him, then it's not cheating. I can flirt with him, I can do whatever I want, but, like, if I kiss him, it's cheating. I don't know where I got that idea, but so I did never kiss him. And so, honestly, like, I know that people say that if you cheat on somebody, then you clearly don't love them, but I feel like I did love Stuart. I loved everything about him. I loved his personality. I loved his amazing skills, and he was very attractive. But this is a really long video. I'm so sorry. But things were so messed up. I am certain I wouldn't have cheated on Stuart if it was in a long-distance relationship. And long-distance relationships, like, I wasn't cheating on Stuart because I didn't like him, because I was mad at him. It was honestly just because I missed being held and stuff like that. Just, like, a physical touch to go along with a romantic one. So, and also at this time, not only was I in a long-distance relationship, it was swim season, and a lot of you guys are like, who freaking cares? But there's a 7-hour difference from the United States to the UK, kind of depending on where you are, And so during swim season, he had college the next morning, so he couldn't stay up and talk to me. And I was at swim practice until he went to bed, so I literally never talked to him. Rarely, sometimes right in the morning, I could talk to him for like a few minutes. But I was in classes and I was doing stuff, so I couldn't really talk to him. We literally only talked like a few times a day, like once or twice, for very short periods of time. So I was really lonely. Like, I never got to talk to him, which, yet again, I know that's like a housewife thing to say. Like, I was lonely, you didn't pay attention to me. But like, yeah, so I was really lonely. I never got to talk to my boyfriend, and it was a long distance relationship, so I never got to touch on that sounded weird. So I never like, got that. And honestly, I did get permission from Stuart, by the way, to talk about this topic. He actually wanted me to, because I think he wanted to, I don't know, people to know that I cheated on him for some reason, but I guess whatever. And so, if I'm going to tell the story, I'm going to tell all of it. We had a few abusive moments in our relationship a little bit. It was all fine until he'd get mad, then he'd get a little bit degrading, and he knows it too. Stuart would often talk about it. So, I don't know, it was just kind of nice to talk to somebody about that. So I would often talk to Gunnar about like what happened whenever me and Stuart would fight. And also at that time, Stuart had feelings for this girl named Emily, and then later he had feelings for Ruth. So he wasn't, I mean, he didn't cheat, but like he did have feelings for other girls at that time. And so like we both weren't all the way into the relationship at that time, because like we were doing other things, we were just the farthest apart from each other we've ever been. But this is so this kind of like plays into the breakup of why we did break up, because we were both like completely doing our separate lives and we never got to talk to each other. We were both liking other people. So I eventually did break up with Stuart because I felt so bad. I knew what I was doing was wrong, obviously. I can't like keep flirting with this guy and tell me that it's okay. And I knew in my heart, I was like, okay, no, I can't just cheat on him. That's so messed up. If I love him, I need to let him go. So I broke up with him. It was the hardest thing I've ever had to do. Thank you so much to Camille for being there for me. I was just trying to make things right. I was constantly trying to make things right, because after a while, like every time, I feel kind of bad for Gunnar in this way, because this is why he is indeed still like hung up over this 2 years later, is because I'm a very needy person, and so like I would try to push him away all the time, like freaking leave me alone. But then again, Gunnar's very persistent and pushy, as we've talked about before, and he was very dead set on making me his girlfriend or just having me in his life. But I did not want any part with him, because I knew that like I was so like not strong enough to like, I don't know, like anytime I was around him at that point, it kind of just made me sick, because I knew that I cheated, and like it made me feel so bad. I was like, what is wrong with me? So I kept trying to push him away all the time. But yeah, he's pushy and perseverant, determined, and so I do feel bad for that, because anytime that he'd get closer, then I'd be like, oh, okay, and then I'd push him away like the next day, like I just couldn't make up my mind because he was so determined. And yeah, so I broke up with Stuart, and yada yada yada. Eventually, I don't know, like I was just so heartbroken. Like during school, I would just sit alone. Gunnar would keep trying to bother me. I'd tell him to freaking leave me alone. He would not leave me alone, no matter what. I told him multiple times to leave me alone. He wouldn't. And honestly, I just wanted to be by myself. I miss my boyfriend so much. Gunnar would come over. He's like, why do you even care? He's abusive. But like, honestly, I still loved him. Like, what are you gonna do? And so I did eventually get back together with Stuart. But honestly, like at that point, we had broken up twice. The first time was his fault, because I think he wasn't happy with me. But then he realized that he was more unhappy with me, and so we got back together. Like 3 hours later. But, right, so I got back together with Stuart, and I was like, things are gonna be better this time. I'm gonna be such a good girlfriend. But honestly, Gunnar was still, like, popping back up in my life every once in a while. So, like, for the very first, like, how long did we stay together after the first breakup? Honestly, I don't really remember, but it was a pretty short time. But for the first, like, 1/3 of that, I was still, like, I don't know. Yet again, this was 2 years ago, so this is kind of hard for me to recall. But it was such a messed up and crazy time in my life that I kind of remember a lot of details. Just random ones, though. Anyways, so for a little bit of that, but, like, probably a very short time of that, I was still, like, kind of involved with Gunnar. But then I think I finally dropped him for good. Like, I don't know, like, I absolutely hated Gunnar. In a way, I kind of blamed Gunnar for all my issues. Like, I was like, well, maybe if you weren't too pushy, then this wouldn't have happened. But, like, I just deeply hated him because it was his fault. In my mind, like, obviously, I have a part to play in this, clearly. But, like, I don't know, I just blamed him for everything. And so I've tried to fix things with Stuart, and, you know, I got rid of Gunnar. Everything should have been good. But by that time, honestly, things were just too late. It was too late to save. As you guys know, you guys don't know, I don't think I talked about it. A friend of mine died that very same year, around that time period. Actually, he was one of my ex-boyfriends, too. And so I'd been really close with him. And so once he died, I just became more distant, apparently. I didn't really notice. And so I didn't talk to him, and I couldn't fix things the way that I should have because I was so heartbroken. And Stuart got jealous over me being upset that my ex-boyfriend died. And, yeah. So, eventually he just started ignoring me for multiple days. Would say, like, really apathetic things to me. And then, honestly, things were just too late to fix because I was distant. I cheated. We're both busy. He likes 2 other girls. Oh, there's the rest of it. Okay. I could not find the scrolly thing. And so, eventually, Stuart realized that he was just settling for me, and he thought he could, you know, do better. But before, he didn't know that, I guess. And so, he left me eventually after a few weeks of ignoring me. He Skype called me, and I was like, promise you won't break up with me. It was during school. I said, please promise you won't break up with me. He's like, I promise. He was being, like, a lot more responsive than usual. And so, honestly, I was just grasping for anything I could. Because, as I said previously, he ignored me for, like, weeks. Like, he'd say a few apathetic things, like, just randomly give me, like, 1-word replies to my paragraphs of how much I loved him. He'd just give me, like, 2 words. I'm, like, reliving this for a second. Oh my goodness. Give me a minute. Whew. This is a really long video. Clearly you really have to care about this topic to watch all of it. And so, he left me that very same day. I Skype called him. He said, I'm so sorry. We're over. And I was like, what the fudge? You promised you wouldn't do this. So he explained that he liked a girl named Ruth, and that he did like a girl named Emily. I do not think that he did anymore. And so he left me because I didn't make him happy, and he thought he was settling. So anyways, we had broken up for good this time. That's the end of us. Stuart and I are on good terms now. We occasionally talk. Matter of fact, I talked to him just a few days ago to ask him for some relationship advice. And so, like, we're Gucci now. Like, don't attack Stuart for whatever reason that you would, but, like, we're good now. He's the one that clearly got the hardest part of this, but honestly, I guess, you know, maybe things would have been different if it wasn't long distance. But now, follow-up story for Stuart. He does have a really cute girlfriend now. I love her. She's really good to him. And so, I'm glad that he's happy. But sadly, the story doesn't end because karma clearly came back and got me. So please don't attack me in the comments because honestly, I feel like I feel like I've gotten my karma because now I have a stalker 2 years later and he still won't leave me alone. And so throughout the rest of that year, Gunnar won't leave me alone. He will not leave me alone, and he makes me sick. And honestly, like at first, it was just me hating Gunnar because he screwed up my relationship in my mind at the time. Obviously, it was clearly mostly my fault. But I just completely blamed him, and now I dislike him, or hate, or whatever word you want to use. I don't really like saying that I hate anybody, but now I dislike him because he literally will not leave me alone, and he scares me. Matter of fact, last night I had a scary dream that Gunnar was looking through my freaking window. No joke. He freaking haunts my entire life. And so, he would not leave me alone. He wrote me those long notes all through the year. If you watch my reading your guys' comments video, I showed you one of those notes. He made multiple of those constant pages of just telling me he loves me. And honestly, I tried to forgive him over and over again, but honestly, I just can't. I tried multiple times throughout the year because I'm a really forgiving person. If you didn't know that about me, you could probably literally spit in my face, but if you just say that you're sorry, then I'll get over it. Like, I think at this time in my life, after everything I've been through, I only haven't forgiven 2 people. 3? 2. I'm gonna say 2 because the other one, like, I won't forget what she did, but I don't like hold it accountable to her. But honestly, if one of the 2 just said that she was sorry, I would forgive her, and she bullied me like hardcore. But honestly, I cannot forgive Gunnar. I don't know what it is, but I cannot get over it. So I blocked him on everything, and I just dropped him. Like, I would not talk to him, and so he was just kind of like a reminder of what I lost and how I messed up. But honestly, now it's just like, he's creepy. I hate him. I can't talk to him. And so, as I had said before, up until that point, I never told him, or what? I had never kissed him. And so, on my 16th birthday, right, happy birthday me, Gunnar was like, hey, I really need to talk to you. And I was like, fine, whatever. And so I go with him to like this corner of the school where he literally makes me kiss him. He forced me to kiss him. And as I said, he's very pushy, and honestly, I'm just putting this in there so you can see of how like messed up this is. And as I had said, I liked confident guys, and but Gunnar took this to a whole nother level. He was like, he's a lot stronger than me, right? Because he's a freaking tall dude. And so, like, I could not leave. It was my birthday. My friends were wondering where I was. They wanted to say happy birthday to me and spend time with me. And I just wanted to leave, but he was like, you cannot leave until you kiss me. And so, like, I literally fought him for, like, 10 minutes. And I was like, whatever, it just doesn't freaking matter. So I kissed him, and I left. Like, I don't know about you, but, like, to this day, he's like, oh, I thought you'd like it. But, like, clearly I was fighting, and I'm pissed. I hate you. Like, I don't know what he was thinking. It's fine. And so, just a few events that happened. I don't think this is the exact order that happened, but, like, just so you can kind of understand why I have a stalker and what things he does. I wouldn't say that he'd ever hurt me, but honestly, he just scares me so much, because one time he walked to my house. He lives, like 15 minutes away in a car drive, but it honestly took him all day to walk to my freaking house, and he walked to my house on a sunny day. Apparently, he got, like, a 2nd-degree sunburn or something. We walked all the way to my house, and I literally just slammed the door on him, because he walked to my freaking house for countless hours. I don't know what he was expecting me to be like, oh, how romantic. Literally, get out of my house. What's wrong with you? One time, he was like, I really want to clear some things up between us. And like I said, I'm a forgiving person, so often I gave him a lot of chances, but then, like, I kept just relearning that I couldn't do it, that I could not forgive him. So he was like, meet me up at this park. It's a public place, and so I was like, okay, maybe I can do this, whatever. He's not gonna, like, do anything creepy. And so I go to this park. It's a public place. There's lots of people jogging around. So I was like, thank goodness. He's talking to me, and honestly, if you don't know Gunner, he talks really slow. I can't stand it, and honestly, at this point, I just hate everything about him. All the words that are coming out of his mouth, like, I just hate every word. Like, I despise him for obvious reasons. I keep saying that a lot, and so I leave because I shouldn't have to be there. I literally listened to him talk for like an hour or something, and so I'm like, no, I'm done. I'm bored. I'm sick of what you're saying. You've already told me this a million times. And so I get up, I leave, I go in my car, and he opens the other door and he will not leave. Like, he's gonna rip off my freaking car door because he's like leaving it open and he's like running with it. And then he literally got in my freaking car and he would not get out. He would not get out of my car. He's like, you have to listen to me. I'm like, no, I freaking don't. Get out of my car. I'm re-stressing this. Okay. Anyways, so I ended up just having to listen to him because I couldn't freaking get him out of my car. And then I drove away and I hated him more. And then, I'm just gonna mention this. I kind of forgot to mention this before, but after the Stewart incident, I did try to better myself, and I didn't date anybody for a year after. Like, I had things with people, I guess you could say, where you're just like flirting with people and you're like, oh, you're cute, but like I never got into a full-on committed relationship after like a year after that. Even longer than a year, actually. I think it was like a year and a half or like 2 years, year and a half afterwards, just because I didn't want to cheat on my next significant other. So like, I am assuring you now that I'm better because like I've gone through a lot of like self-changing. Like, I've tried to better myself before you freaking attack me and say that nobody should ever date me, because like, I don't know. I feel like as long as you constantly try to better yourself, then you're doing something right. But I feel like I'm still gonna get attacked for this video anyways because it's still pretty messed up. And so this is where we come to the Pinterest boards. Gunnar has dedicated multiple Pinterest boards to me. Matter of fact, I'm gonna see if I can freaking Google them for you right now. Here, I'm actually gonna pause it. Okay, I found this Pinterest board, and I don't know if I should really share the title with you guys, but so I think he deleted the other ones. Oh, my phone's gonna die, sorry. But if you go on his Pinterest, it looks like just a normal Pinterest board, like, stuff to buy, the savior, gaming, tattoos, comedy, punk. I don't know what that is. But one of them, I don't know what happened to, I think he deleted his other boards because I kept talking about them to people or something, but they like had my name on them. On actually, one was called "To Whom This Concerns," and he just wrote a bunch of like sad quotes, and like he'd put the captions, and they're like, "I hate you so much," and then the next one would be like, "I love you, please come back, why do you hurt me like this?" And like a bunch of them were just, it was so random. Like, you'd think that he was bipolar or something because like it was so up and down. I hate you, I despise you, like how could you do this to me? And then like the next one's like, I'm so in love with you. Like, it was so up and down, and for some reason this won't let me click on it. But in the next board that really matters is the one that had his birthday to my birthday that just happened. And so I have called the police, or I've had a friend call the police on Gunnar before because I didn't know where he lived, so I couldn't give them an address. But I had Cody call the police on Gunnar, and Cody had already called the police on him once before for suicide. So all over his board he threatened suicide, and I think I was talking to him because yet again I was trying to make things better and I was trying to forgive him, but I couldn't. And he was like, "I'm gonna kill myself if you don't be my friend. There's no reason for me to live if you don't." This is a really long video. And so obviously I'm like, what the fudge? And So I talked to him while I tell Cody to call the police. So I'm like kind of just talking to Gunner, making sure he doesn't do anything, and then the police show up and they do nothing. This is the second time they've called the police on Gunner and they do nothing still. So that's fun. I don't know like what they were waiting for. Like, does he have to have a gun to his head for you to do something? Like what's the protocol for that? Anyways, yeah, so one of them, so apparently he had this plan to kill himself on my birthday, but it didn't happen, I guess. I don't know. Like, he's still alive, so I'm really confused, and it won't let me click on this board, so I wonder if he deleted it, but it, like, still shows it. Here, I'll just show you. This is gonna be, like, freaking ghetto. It's that board right here. I don't know if you can see it, but that's my birthday. The one that just happened. Obviously, there's a gun, there's him being hung and stuff. So, like, it's just clearly mentally unstable. I don't know what to do about it anymore. And so, yeah, this is what I deal with. I've been blackmailed a few times by him. If you don't hang out with me, then I'll tell everybody what you did. I'll send screenshots. Like, he just has screenshots of every conversation we've ever had. And honestly, like, and I don't know, at the time I was really ashamed, and I don't want my friends and family to know that I cheated or something, but, like, honestly, now it's just, like, this is way too out of hand. Honestly, that's why I was scared to, like, ever get the police involved, in the first place, because I was, like, I don't want them to, like, know the whole story, but honestly, at this point, like, it's so much of a mess. Thank you guys for watching. That's really all I wanted to talk about. I'm pretty sure Gunner's still alive. I don't really have a way to check up on him, so kind of, well, I blocked him. It's fine. I know that he has a lot of friends that he lives with, so hopefully we'll be good. I don't know what to do. I'm not a therapist. He won't get help. I've tried. Honestly, you guys don't even know how many countless phone calls I've been in with him, and constant bringing me down and, like, I don't know, dragging me for what I did 2 years ago. And so, yeah, that's all for this video. Like I said, I wouldn't have made it if I hadn't already involved you guys in it. That's what happened to my long distance relationship, and that's what happened with my stalker. And so I'll keep you guys updated, I guess, or something. I don't know. I'd like to think that this is over.